My name is Stuart Feiner. I work for Jewish Family Service in Boulder. I'm a care manager and do some programming as well. We have a lot of clients who are older adults. So we already had a relationship with this couple. And so when we found out that they needed to move, and I knew their situation to a degree, I knew they were going to need some help. And so JFS, as Beth knows, is part of an interagency group that works with, we meet once a month, people who work with older adults primarily in Boulder County. So we work with a number of organizers, and I love working with Beth. So when I heard that this couple was going to need to move and that it was going to be quite overwhelming, I knew they were already trying to declutter to some degree on their own. The man in the couple has a lot of books and other collectibles that they've been trying to let go of over time. So it was already in our sort of consciousness that they were going to need some help just organizing and decluttering. But then when the move came up, which was not expected, I thought, well, let's connect them with Beth right away and see what we can do to be helpful, both in terms of getting rid of stuff that they need, that they don't need, and keeping stuff that they want, and how are we going to help them to move.
So, my backstory to how I got to Colorado actually goes to the Boulder JCC. I ended up leaving Florida in the summer of 16 to work at a camp that the JCC was connected with called Camp Inc. And so I became very connected to all of the different players at the JCC pretty early on and spending quite a bit of time there. So and even when I lived in Tampa, I was very engaged with Jewish Federation, Jewish Family Services, the JCC. My kids went to preschool there. So it's always been very much a part of who I am, culturally speaking. So being able to give what I can to my current Jewish community is obviously something that I still value and is very important to me. We talk about Tikkun Olam, repairing the world. I still believe it in my heart. That's just who I am at my core, regardless of my religion. That's just how I was raised. So being able to be connected to resources like Stewart and Jewish Family Services, as well as many other agencies around Boulder County, is really important to me. It's part of my mission. I always say that I have plenty of clients that feed my bank account, but I also need the clients that feed my soul. So being able to help this particular couple was especially touching and moving for me. The wife has a brain injury. The husband has Parkinson's. So under even the best of circumstances, if they had the financial means, they would still struggle with having to move, especially when they didn't want to move. And in this case, they didn't. They really loved the house that they were in. They were very comfortable there, but they had no choice. The landlord was selling the house, and they had to leave. So for this particular job, I couldn't even bring in any of my team members because of the budget. And I am happy to always discount my hourly rate when it comes to jobs like this, but also in general, if there's just somebody that financially can't afford it, I never want to turn anybody away. But this couple, I really enjoyed working with them. It was challenging at times because there was a lot of forgetting of what I had said or what we did. So I had to come in with an even bigger open heart and open mind because of that. Because it's hard. You're trying to work as quickly and efficiently as possible, but when somebody has any type of physical limitation or mental health limitation, it makes it that much more challenging. But I loved it. I loved every minute that I helped them. They could not have been kinder and nicer and more appreciative. Getting texts and calls at all kinds of hours is just, kind of goes with the territory in this business, even though everybody says boundaries, Beth, all the time. It's hard. It's very hard. I'm sure, Stuart, you can totally relate to that. Boundaries is hard when you're in a social service type of setting, right?
Yes, it is. Saying no is very hard, but sometimes you have to do it. In this case, we were able to say yes. And because Beth was so generous with her time and her fee, and we were in a position to help with that financially, which we can do sometimes. In a case like this, we were very grateful. We were very honored to be able to help, but also they're such a grateful couple that that makes a huge difference. When people are grateful and understand that it's a big deal, um, the situation in general, or in this case, moving, and we get a lot of people who have to downsize and they just resist it at every, as you know, they just really resist it. It's hard, but as Beth says, it's just stuff. But it's hard. It's easy to say that, it's hard to get there.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
and I say that all the time. That I don't want people to think that I don't understand the emotional attachment that they have to their things. And in this case, as you mentioned, they had a lot of books. The wife actually is a huge crafter, so she had an entire room just of crafting supplies. Finding a new place was challenging. They wanted a a home. They didn't want to be in an apartment. They have a dog that really, they didn't want to have to worry about going up and down stairs and things like that. That was one of the benefits of where they did
Yeah.
move to, because they got away from having to go up and down stairs. And listen, we all are getting older, and we all have to accept and acknowledge that the things that we were able to do and the places we were able to live start to change as we age, and we just have to accept it. I think that they I saw them. When did I see them? Just like a week ago. I went by to pick up something that I had left there, and when they first got there, I got the panic call the next morning saying that they didn't think that the new home was going to work out. They didn't have any vision for how things were really going to get unpacked and put away. And so I had already been scheduled to be there that morning. I wasn't there though for the actual move day, because I felt very confident with the movers that I had coordinated, and they were great. The next morning was when I got the panic call. They didn't know where anything was. They felt like the movers just had to drop everything wherever they could, because there was nobody there giving them direction. And that's certainly not what I ever want for a client. But we got it under control the next day, and the mover came back and also helped, because he heard these are the lessons that we have to learn from to make sure that things go as smoothly as possible. Now having a backup plan will be something that will always be in the back of my head, but they've settled in. The house looks really great. They're still working on putting some things away and a little bit of fine tuning, but they're good. They're settled. They're good. They're happy, and that makes my heart happy. And I know it makes your heart happy as well. It takes the passion, but it also takes the physical ability, and the mental willingness, because it's overwhelming. It really is.
Yes, I'd agree
Um,
with that.
and again, imagine not only being older, having a brain injury, but also having no family around to support them, which, as you know, Stuart, is a big problem for a lot of seniors in our community. I say this all the time. I'm 62. I'm on the other side of the hill, according to society. My kids live on opposite coasts, and I don't know what's going to happen to me. None of us really know, right?
Yeah.
And, I like to think that, I will be fine until whatever day it is that I do die. And hopefully I have a little control still at that point over, you know, how I want those last days, weeks, months, or years to be. But we don't always get that choice. So, we kind of joke about who's going to get me in my family. But, my heart goes out to all of these people that have no family and in a lot of cases, no friends left, because they might be the last in their 80s or 90s left in the community. So, it really is, I think my job to help people because I want people to help me when I'm going to need it.
The fact that I haven't heard from them is, in this case, has been a good sign.
Oh, good.
Yeah, because that means things are pretty calm and going well, and that you're handling it, and there's no issues. There were some concerns at the beginning, which I'm sure were shared with you anyway. But the fact that I haven't heard anything is great.
I try and check in with clients like that. If I don't hear from them, it starts out like the day after the move, and then I move to like a week after, and then a month after, and then if I don't hear from them for a while, sure, I'll definitely touch base with them. But it as much as I want to try and keep in touch with all of my clients, or at least most of them, it's hard. It is hard, but I do try and do regular check-ins with clients like that. So yeah, but I think they're doing okay. I really do.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, it was great to work with you. I'm really
Thank you.
glad we have this connection and ongoing.
Thank you.
And it's a good community to be in that.